When a depressed young woman is abducted by an alien, her world is turned upside down when she finds out that she is one half of the key to saving all of humanity. But the question is, does she even want to? This is Perfect Worlds. It's about aliens, good and bad, attempting to control the fate of humanity. It's about a cliché chosen one not wanting anything to do with any of that stuff. It's about people with different beliefs and different opinions. And it's about those same people disagreeing, yet still respecting each other. Or at least insulting each other fairly. You can find the book on Amazon right now in ebook, hardcover, and paperback editions. I hope you enjoy it, but if you don't, that's my fault. Alright, we're going to find the story in Power Rangers 2017. Not that the film doesn't have a story, but you'll see. After seeing this movie in a theater back in 2017, my first reaction was to call this film the Power Rangers Breakfast Club. The similarities were pretty obvious, but we have to give Power Rangers director Dean Israelite a huge amount of respect for taking the Power Rangers franchise seriously enough to make it into a movie worth watching.
Jason, you need me out of this wall to help lead this team.
Your team's dead, and you're just as scared as we are.
However, when we watched the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray disc, we began to imagine a slightly alternate film. First, we feel that the movie shouldn't focus on all 5 Rangers. Instead, the story should focus on 3 Rangers, Jason, Kimberly, and Billy. This allows for any unneeded Zack and Trini scenes to be cut in favor of adding more scenes that develop Jason, Kimberly, and Billy a bit more. Yes, that pushes Zack and Trini firmly into the role of supporting characters, but it's at least a much better treatment of these characters than bringing Trini into the start of the movie just to kill her off right away. The first thing we should do, though, is alter the start of the film. After the initial scene with Zordon and Rita, the original edit of the film moves to Jason and his friend getting into some trouble that leads to a high-speed car chase, which in turn leads to Jason's knee injury. However, this scene isn't really needed. What it does, actually, is place an action scene, a car chase, after an action scene that began the film. We don't want to layer action on action, though. Following that opening action scene, we want to bring things down a bit as we introduce the characters, so we should remove Jason's car chase scene. We learn about this event through dialogue anyway, and it's more interesting to get this information through a scene in which Jason and his father are arguing with each other. This is a case in which telling is stronger than showing, and that's how we want to start this movie. We get a bit of history concerning Zordon, Rita, and the Power Coins, then we have a quieter moment with Jason and Kimberly being dropped off for detention. We're now introducing and following 2 important characters and see their initial interaction with each other. We're also in the setting in which we'll meet the 3rd important character, Billy Cranston.
Oh, William Cranston. You remember kids used to call me Billy Crams Tons as a 3rd grade joke, like Billy crams tons of crayons in his butt, which I didn't.
Once we have those introductions and begin establishing connections, we can continue by showing the strained relationship between Jason and his father. However, the theatrical cut of the movie does this in an unnecessarily subtle way. What we see is Jason overhearing his father and mother arguing about him, and there's this exchange of dialogue in which Jason's mother says, to which Jason's father responds. In the deleted scene, this is handled very differently, as instead of simply having Jason and his father ignore each other while in the kitchen, we get to see Jason arguing with his father, which brings us, the audience, into the middle of that argument since we're not a certain distance away from the kitchen and argument.
Knee hurting?
Always hurts. Didn't help that I had to walk home from detention.
Yeah, well, I had to prep the boat. Going for an overnight. Gotta catch some more fish. It's been dead out there. You know, the doctor said you do your workouts and your drills, you can get on the other side of this.
Nope, that's not what he said. That's what you heard. You asked him, do you think if he trains and does drills, he can get back to where he was? And the doctor paused for what seemed like a year and said it's possible. Dad?
Just in this 30-second clip, we've learned a lot about the background of Jason's relationship with his father and why Jason feels the way he does. Jason feels that his father is pushing Jason in athletics and won't listen to either Jason or even a doctor when it comes to what Jason wants or can even physically do. Jason's father has a high bar that he's set for his son, and Jason struggles with the pressure he feels to meet that high bar. And this is the foundation for Jason's anger toward his father.
You're not even gonna try?
I'm gonna gimp around town just to embarrass you.
So what's the plan? Now you get arrested, blow out your knee, kill every option that you got.
Oh, I killed my options? You made me plead guilty to evading police. We didn't have to do that.
Dale's father says
You deserved it.
Okay, you know what?
I got other copies.
And here we have more of that bubbling anger, and we can feel like Jason is taking his knee injury as a way out of his father's life goals and plans for him. And we see what Jason craves from his father, which is support. Jason doesn't want his father to push him to reach a goal that Jason probably doesn't even want for himself. At least not anymore.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You basically wrote it. You went down to the newspaper and you got the guy to do the article.
Yeah, I did that for your own good. To help with recruiting. You should be thanking me for that.
For what? For leaving me in jail for 3 nights? How do you think I feel walking around town now?
How do you think I feel walking around town now?
Let's not do this tonight. Okay?
Not to mention, that is such a beautiful moment when Jason's little sister runs up and hugs him and asks,
Okay.
that shows that there is caring within the conflict. It adds depth to the scene and shows how the conflict between father and son is affecting the family. And the last thing Jason says,
why should tonight be any different?
allows us to feel for this type of argument happening between father and son on a regular basis. It shows the divide between Jason and his father, and it shows why that divide should not be resolved as quickly as it is in the theatrical cut. Where the strained relationship between Jason and his father seems to be resolved in the original cut shows up in a scene about halfway through the film. We'll get to that later though. First, we want to address a section of the original cut of the film that clearly interrupts the flow of the story. After Jason makes the decision to become a Power Ranger, we see him and the others leaving the cavern where Zordon's ship is buried. In the original cut of the film, this is when we see the story interrupted by a few scenes that can either be removed or moved. The first scene after the departure from Zordon's ship is a scene of Zack at home with his mother.
你还弄出那么多动静来。
小心点啊！来，帮你坐下。
知道你回来，我就很高兴。你还在去上学对吧？Zack， 你没有回答我。
我知道。吃药，好吗？
What is the point of this scene? Yes, it shows Zack's caring for his mother, but Zack tells us this when he says,
My mother's the best!
So, what this scene of Zack at home ends up doing is interrupting the flow of the story. Zack's relationship with his mother isn't developed enough or interesting enough to place into the film as a story thread. The second scene after the departure from Zordon's ship is a scene of Trini at home with her family, who want her to talk with them at the dinner table and tell them something that happened in her day. Trini admits that,
Me and 4 kids from Angel Grove found a spaceship buried underground.
What?
I'm pretty sure I'm a superhero.
Pee in that cup.
Again, what is the point of this scene? How does this scene push the story along? It really doesn't, not in any way. So again, it's a scene that interrupts the flow of the story. And it comes after the Zack scene, which has already interrupted the flow of the story. So we have 2 scenes back to back, taking us out of the story rather than keeping us engaged in the story. That said, this scene of Trini saying that she's a superhero can still be used as a fun post-credits scene, since it makes more sense for her to say this after she's helped to save Angel Grove.
Okay, Trini, let's start over. Please tell us one thing you did today.
Me and 4 kids from Angel Grove found a spaceship buried underground.
What?
I'm pretty sure I'm a superhero.
Pee in that cup.
The third scene after the departure from Zordon's ship is a scene of Jason and his father looking at the truck Jason wrecked when he had his motor vehicle accident. Jason has cooled down now. He seems to be okay with his father. His father seems to be okay with him. Again, how is this scene pushing the story forward? It really doesn't. And worse, it breaks the tension between Jason and his father by placing them in good standing with each other from this point on. This isn't beneficial to the story as it gives the story one less interesting element to hang on to. That's not something we want only halfway through the movie. Now, when we remove or move these 3 scenes that interrupt the flow of the story, we end up moving from the scene of the Rangers departing from Zordon's ship to Rita Repulsa beginning to grow in power. This is a bit of a leap. So we'll add in this deleted scene of Jason's father going to the dock to discover that his boat is the scene of a grisly murder.
I'm Sam Scott, that's my boat, and they called me to come down. What happened?
Adding in this deleted scene helps us to better feel the separation between Jason and his father, as they each engage in their own activities while these events regarding Rita Repulsa begin to play out. The split between father and son is now shown throughout the story. They are truly separate from each other because of the tension between them that we witnessed in an earlier scene. And we want that tension between Jason and his father to remain intact throughout the film. We want to know that it's there, in the background, that it's something that needs to be resolved. And we want the major events in the film to feel as if they have an impact on that resolution. With that tension between Jason and his father present, we bring more emotion to a later scene in which Jason, as the Red Ranger, sees his father in danger and races in to rescue him. Jason connects with the caring that he has for his father, which is what can motivate Jason to drop that tension with his father. That's not accomplished with the scene of Jason and his father looking at the wrecked truck appearing in the middle of the film. So what we want to do is move this scene to the end of the film, when we want to leave the audience with a feeling that things are better between father and son now.
Is to remind me of my screw up?
No. Wrecking yard only offered me $300 for it. You know, the frame's straight and the engine still runs. Figured I'd leave it up to you to decide if you wanted to fix it.
The added benefit of this scene now appearing at the end of the film is that the wrecked truck now becomes analogous to the relationship between Jason and his father, as Jason's father says that the truck can be fixed if Jason would like to do that, which would be a subtle way for Jason's father to say that their relationship can be fixed if Jason would like to do that, and Jason nods in approval. And with Jason having grown throughout the film, throughout the struggles and challenges he faced in the time spent apart from his father, Jason now carries a greater sense of responsibility. He's grown up a bit, and he has newfound maturity that can be shown in this scene, now at the end of the film, when Jason chooses to make things right with his father, which is an action Jason now has a proper motivation for. Okay, aside from removing a few of Zach and Trini's scenes while adding in deleted scenes that strengthen the emotion in the film, we also want to add in a few of Billy's deleted scenes, one of which shows a bit more of his and Jason's budding friendship.
We're taking the van. Can you help me with this? It's a little heavy. You're strong. How do you hold it with one hand? I got it. Now, I'm gonna try. Let me do it. I got it. I got it. Okay, you got it. Okay, you got it. Okay. All right. Put it in. Yeah, that's it. All right, don't drop. Yeah, there we go.
We can also add in a joke involving Billy that was cut out of the theatrical release of the film. The setup for this joke occurs while the Rangers are traveling to Zordon's ship, with Jason advising Billy to lie to his mother about her wrecked van.
Look, you're not listening. Okay. I know that the van is insured, but what am I supposed to tell my mom?
It's crazy how someone stole the van.
Then we took the van.
It's crazy how someone stole the van.
Jason, all 5 of us were in the van.
It's crazy how someone stole the van.
Oh, okay. It's crazy how someone stole the van.
Guys, look.
To reach crime scene, what is now being dubbed Angel Grove's Gold Killer is still on the loose.
Police are finishing up their report, but they wanted me to ask if there was anything else you remembered about the last time you saw the van.
It's crazy how someone stole the van.
Okay.
So we see how adding these deleted scenes of Jason and Billy back into the film are adding to their characters.
All right, Billy, let's go. You gotta swing the shell. You gotta swing the shell for good luck.
Okay.
Yeah.
We see a bit more of their friendship, and we see some whimsy between them, as well as between Billy and his mother. And although this film is pretty much Jason's story, Kimberly and Billy are in direct orbit of Jason, which is why those two characters are more important than Zach and Trini in this film.